Today, we become legends.
Hey, my name's Inter, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be reviewing some more SmiteFire build guides. I try to do these like once a month or so I don't get like repeated guides, and there's always some fresh content and maybe a bit of meta shifts and things, maybe a patch between when I do these reviews, so I'm not reviewing the same thing over and over again, if you feel me. But it's been about a month since my last one, so we're going to give this a go. Let's have a look at this Thoth midland guide. Thoth is relatively simple in terms of build, so I should be able to rate this one pretty well. It's got a 9.8 rating. It's on the sort of top rated guide section, so hopefully it should be a pretty good one. Okay, straight off the bat, I'm not a huge fan of the potions layout, to be honest. I am more of a health over mana potions type guy. I think 3 mana potions is a little bit overkill. You get 10 MP5 from Conduit Gem, 5 MP5 from Lost Artifact. I really don't think you need 3 mana potions in this build, to be honest. I will go 3 health, 2 mana at the most, maybe even like 3 health, 2 multi or something like that. I know midland is doing a bit more mana though, so maybe 3 health, 2 mana, but only a small criticism on the starting build there. Standard build, Amaterasu Gem, choose a focus, Rod. I assume you go Rod like, you know, sort of prior to your boots kind of thing. Not prior to your boots, but prior to your boots because of a Lost Artifact start. Into Deso, into Spear, Obsidian Shard, Soul Gem. The double flat pen is interesting. I feel like double flat pen when you're going Rod to Hootie. I assume this means he does go Rod second item. You know, he goes like Lost Artifact, finishes boots, then goes back and finishes Rod. I assume that's what he means. Double flat pen after that, I'm not a huge fan of, to be honest. If I go double flat pen, it's usually my first 2 items after boots. Obsidian Shard, obviously the best percent pen item. I say this all the time. Karen's Coin is nowhere near as good as Obsidian Shard in my opinion. And then Soul Gem, also a really good item that Thoth can proc reliably from pretty long range. But yeah, overall the build's pretty good. Maybe I would swap out the Spear of the Magus for something different. Maybe a Chronos Pendant or something like that. That would cap out as CDR, I believe, right? Boots plus Soul Gem plus Pendant. Oh, Spear of Deso also. Yeah, so maybe you can't fit a pendant in this build without overcapping a little bit. You know, you'd have to sell your boots to be able to properly fit that in, and then you're buying Power Potion, which gives 10% and stuff like that. So maybe not a pendant, but something else in this build will be interesting. Does he have any... Okay, he has some other stuff down here. We'll give that a look. But leveling order... Yep, leveling order's totally fine. Alternative build for Sands of Time, he goes for like the Pendulum. Yeah, so once again, like I said, Pendant and Pendulum both have 20%, so you are overcapping CDR in this build. That's a little bit of a problem. Because you will sell your boots, which will bring you down to 40%, but around the time you're selling your boots, or maybe even before, you're also buying Power Potion, which gives you 10%. So typically, I want to be like selling my shoes down to 30%, so when I buy Power Potion, I'm back up at 40%. So this build does overcap a little bit. Stacking build, so he's fixed the problem here by going Reaver instead of Soul Gem. I don't know why he didn't do that in that build, because yeah, you're overcapping CDR a little bit there. Overall, I'm not a big fan of stacking currently. I think you need a lot of the pressure from mid, but I think it is better than it has been with Season 8. You get a little bit more time in mid, it feels like, to go for stacks. Situational items, Magi's is fine. Yeah, this will be the only defense item I would ever go on Thoth. He's not a god where you really want to go like Mantle or something like that. You want the damage, but if you really need a little bit of defense, if you're really getting focused down a lot, Magi's Cloak can be good. E-Staff I wouldn't really recommend. This is more of a Guardian or like solo lane mage item. I don't think you really want to go this on a typical mid lane mage. You're better off with Reaver or Soul Gem. Divine Ruin obviously fine against healers. Doom you could go in place of like maybe a Book of Thoth or in place of the Rod of Tahuti, something like that. And Reaver is fine, yeah. Reaver's still pretty decent. Relics, I wouldn't recommend Shell, especially because it's getting nerfed, but even before, I don't think mages with Shell really work that well. It's more sort of like an ADC tech. But yeah, after Magic Shell gets nerfed, I highly doubt you're buying it on mid lane mages. But yeah, overall, pretty good guide. Only minor complaints, really, as in, like, you know, he's overcapping CDR slightly in some of the builds. I would recommend less mana potions. The double pen to me isn't amazing, but overall, pretty solid guide. I'll definitely give this one like a 9 out of 10. Okay, we got a Tiamat guide. This is from the new guide, so it's not one of the top ones, so it may not be quite as good as the previous one. Let's give it a look. So he goes Death's Toll? Why do you go Death's Toll? Is there some reason you would want to go Death's Toll on Tiamat? Does she have like Cleave? I don't think she has Cleave, right? Maybe she does have some like synergy with this, like Cleaves or something like that. Then I'm going to look like an idiot here, but I feel like there's no reason to go Death's Toll on Tiamat. You probably want like Warding Sigil if you're against a magical. You could go Warrior's Axe for like sundering shenanigans. Could even go like a more damaging option like Archmage's Gem going into Gem of Focus late game, something like that. Starting with Lost Artifact is very questionable as well. Tiamat solo, you probably want to go defense against your lane opponent straight away, because if you go damage and they go defense, they're going to outtrade you. That's how the game works. Multi-potions is fine. I would probably go health potions, to be honest. You get a lot of mana sustain in solo from Totem and from blue buff and things like that. You don't really need the multis. I would prefer to see health there. Hand of the Gods. I guess in the new meta, when you're soloing your blue, Tiamat might have trouble clearing the blue. That's probably the thought process behind this one. So I don't hate the Hand of the Gods too much. And TP, yeah, that's fine. I mean, obviously you can go other things. You can go Blink if you're more confident in the laning phase. But if you're... I always say that if you're not a very confident solo laner, or if you're playing God you don't know too much, you know, you got put on the roll in ranked but you don't play it, I would go Teleport, to be honest. It's a very good safe option. But if you're more versed in the role, you can definitely get away with going things like Blink. Endgame damage build. Yeah, he goes Death's Embrace. Like, is there a reason for this? I don't think there is, to be honest. But yeah, he goes Death's Embrace, which I don't think I like unless there's some weird Tiamat synergy that I'm missing there. Pendant, Spear, Typhons. Oh, it's like a full damage build. Water Tahuti, Spear of Desolation with a Mantle in there. Elixir of Speed, Elixir of Power. I guess maybe you meant Red Pot here, the 500 gold one, not the 3000 gold one. Yeah, this is pretty questionable. Don't go full damage from solo, ever. I mean, you can get away with it, but typically you're going to screw your team over by not being able to tank anything. Even though Tiamat can build full mage and still be a little bit tanky because of the mitigations from the... I think it's the passive that gives the mitigations. She can be really tanky because of that, but one Mantle of Discord isn't going to be enough for you to be able to properly dive into the backline and get stuff done. As for the build itself, even for a damage build, I don't really like it. You know, it's there's no percent pen here other than a tiny bit on Typhons. Speaking of the Typhons, why is that here? It's only healing from magical lifesteal, so it doesn't even synergize with the Death's Embrace, which I assume is what they were going for here. You know, this isn't going to boost Death's Embrace passive healing because it's not lifesteal, it's on-hit basic attack healing, it's a different thing. You're supposed to build Typhons with something else, like maybe a Ring of Hecate, maybe a Bancross Talon, something like that. So yeah, definitely not the Typhons there. You're also going to be overcapping CDR if you have a blue buff or if you have a power potion or something like that. Minor complaint again, but it is something to take note of. But just in general, like, why Death's Embrace, why Typhon's Fang, why full damage? I'm not a big fan of this. For leveling order... Yeah, I think that's fine. I'm pretty sure that's how you level Tiamat. I haven't played her too much, but I'm pretty sure that's how you level her. Oh, and he's got a couple of extended things down here. Mid-game. Oh, so this is like what you should have around the mid-game. Yeah, so like, why? This build is horrible. Like, I guess you're going... Yeah, did he go lifesteal boots up here? Yeah, so there's no boots here. He sold them, but I assume, you know, you go lifesteal boots. Maybe that's why he has Typhon's Fang. I have no idea. That's... 8% lifesteal is not enough to go Typhon's Fang. You need a full lifesteal item to make Typhon's Fang an actual good pickup. But yeah, this build is just very questionable. This is a little better. It's still not good. I assume that's like an optional. You know, you would have one of those two boots, probably Shoes of Focus. But like, once again, you're massively overcapping CDR here. Even if I'm being generous and say you go Shoes of the Magi and not Focus, you've still got 50% CDR in 3 items here. Oh, 60 actually. I forgot about Mantle. Yes, 60% cooldown in this build with no blue buff, no power potion. And the build's not even complete at that point. You know, you still got to sell your boots. So it's a pretty questionable build here. Endgame build for defense. Don't build Tyrannical late. If you're going to build Tyrannical ever, it's like first item in the laning phase to get you pressure. Tyrannical's not something you build late game. I guess you will buy Elixir defense. Yeah, this build is horrible. I hate to say it, but this build is horrible. Even from mid, this build won't be very good. But the fact that he's suggesting you build full damage Tiamat from solo is like, no. I'm going to have to give this one like a 2 out of 10. This may be one of the worst builds I've ever seen. You know, Death's Embrace, Typhon's Fang with no lifesteal, full damage from solo, massively overcapping CDR in basically every way. No second relic option even listed. He just says TP. So do you get 2 TPs? Who knows? Yeah, this is pretty questionable. This is some of the worst I've seen on SmiteFire so far. Okay, we got a Merlin mid guide 8.4. Let's give this a look. It's got like an 8.1 rating, so it should be a little better than the previous one, hopefully. We have Conduit Gem, Lost Artifact, Health and Multis. I like the start. Like I said earlier, I do like going multis and things like that. Merlin does use a lot of mana, so I will be totally fine going 2 mana instead of 2 multi. I think that's fine. But you do have a decent amount of MP5. You have 15 MP5 with this start, plus just regen in general. So I think you'd probably be okay with mana, but Merlin does use a lot, so multis swapped out for mana would be totally fine there. Example build 1, so you rush Tahuti here, so it would be like Boots Tahuti, Deso, Obshard, Soul Gem, Gem of Focus. This is fine. I think Gem of Focus is actually pretty good on Merlin, to be honest. You can very easily stack this up to full stacks, which is... 9% speed, 9% damage increase, 6% damage reduction. You know, the damage reduction is very nice on Merlin. He's quite easy to dive, to be honest, especially once you burn his blink. So yeah, Gem of Focus, Merlin's one of the few mid lane mages that I would say this works well on. It works very well on solo lane guardians and solo lane mages, But for the most part, midland mages want Archmage's gem instead. But Gem of Focus is actually very good on Merlin. I like it a lot. So overall, this build's very solid. It has flat pen, it has percent pen, it has some big power boosts, it has some utility in Soul Gem and Gem of Focus. The boost choice is correct. Not overcapping CDR. This is a very solid build. In fact, it's 30% CDR. It's perfect amount. Tahuti Rush with anti-heal. So he just swaps out the Soul Gem for Divine Ruin. To be honest, I would just swap out the Spear of Desolation for Divine Ruin instead. Just go Divine Ruin here and then just continue with the Soul Gem as standard. I don't think you really need to swap out the Soul Gem for like double flat pen. I think you just swap out the Spear of Desolation, you'll be fine. Chronos Rush. Yeah, once again, fine build. I don't really know why you... Oh, yeah, because you'd be overcapping cooldown, that's why, yeah. Okay, understandable that you go choosing the Magi here, just because you'd be overcapping cooldown. But the thing is with mages, the cooldown's on the boot, so it's actually fine to go like 40% like you would here, Pendant plus Deso. This doesn't give cooldown, right? Yeah, I thought it didn't give cooldown. Yeah, we're fine. So you'd have 30% in those two items, 10% in your boots, so you'd have 40%. By the time you're going to buy Power Potion, which would put you at 50%, you're roughly going to be selling your boots around that time also, so it's kind of fine. You sell your boots, you buy Power Potion, it equalizes, you still have 40% cooldown. So it's actually fine to go Choose a Focus here. And then an anti-heal option for that, Conduit with Magic Focus, if you're going Deso Rush. There's a lot of detail here. Deso Rush, totally fine. The Rod is a little early in my opinion, but pretty fine there. Choose a Focus, Divine... Yes, that's like a double flat pen rush build. Deso Rush early coin. There's a lot of information here. I'm not a big fan of coin over shard, to be honest. I would just go shard. Start 3 with Sands of Time. Pendulum of Ages. Wow, okay, there's so much information here. I'm not going to read it all. Alternative items, relics. Yeah, relics, beads, Aegis. Don't buy anything else on a midland mage. You're typically going to just want beads, Aegis. Alternative options, yeah, Magus is okay on Merlin, you can apply that quite easily. I think Magus is definitely playable on Merlin, especially with the Deso nerf coming through. But Deso on Merlin is just like super good also, because you get the ultimate cooldown reduction for stand switching, so like, it's probably better than Magus, but Magus is still very good on Merlin, that's for sure. Staff of Muradin, also really good on Merlin. It's one of the few mid lane mages that I actually really like this item on. I think it's okay on some others, but Merlin specifically is very good for, because you can stand switch and then double cast your favorite ability from that stance. It's quite good. Yeah, I suppose you could go Typhon's Bancross, but I don't really like that on Merlin a lot. Mantle, maybe. Magi's is fine. Archmage's Gem you could go if you wanted more damage as opposed to the Gem of Focus. Doom Orb is also fine to rush early, maybe in place of the Rod of Tahuti. Pyth Piece is okay, maybe if you were going like a Typhon's build. Sack Shroud, also fine to be honest, but I do prefer the Gem. Tainted Breastplate, I don't think you want to go on a mid lane mage to be honest. E-Staff, similar, you probably want to go on like a solo laner for this. Relics, you probably don't want shell, to be honest. But yeah, so much detail in this guide. To be honest, a little over-detailed. I am going to knock points off for that. I know I say this a lot, but this is way too much information. I can understand this, and this is very useful for me, because I like to go very in-depth and make sure I'm maximizing things, because I already know a lot about the game. But to someone that knows nothing about the game, coming in and looking at this, they're going to be like, what the hell do I do with this? There's just so many different options, and while it is useful for a more intermediate to advanced player, for a beginner it's going to be a little confusing, but the actual information in the guide is very good. Like, very few complaints here, to be completely honest with you. So I would have to give this one like a 9 out of 10. I think this one is honestly a little underrated. The only reason I don't have it rated higher is because of the information, and maybe that's why it's rated lower, because a lot of these 122,000 people are going to be people that don't really know what they're doing, and they're going to see all this, just this wall of items, they're going to be like, what is that? And they probably downvote the guide, which is what I was talking about in terms of like being way too much information. But in terms of contents of the guide itself, like a 9 out of 10, this is a very solid guide. Alright, we got a Loki solo build. Loki's become like a sort of more of a bruiser solo laner now, so I assume this is going to be some kind of bruiser build. Never mind, it's full damage. Okay, so we got Transcendence, Warrior Tabby, Hydras, Dominance, Heartseeker, Titan's Bane. So in terms of a full damage Loki build, this is good. If this was built in jungle, I'd be pretty fine with it. Obviously not the Transcendence first in jungle, but you feel me. Bluestone Pendant, yeah, that's probably what you want to go, to be honest, for the extra wave clear and things like that. Chalice, 5 multis is a bit overkill. I would go 3 or 4 multis, but yeah, the general idea is fine. TP, I guess you could go TP. TP on Loki isn't something I like, though. I know I say TP is very good if you're not very well versed in solo, but to be honest, I would just go Blink Beads on Loki. I think you just need Blink Beads if you're going full damage like this. In a like a Bruiser Loki build, which is more typical from solo, with like a Gladiator Shield, Sledge, Shifter Shield, those kind of items, you can get away with a little bit of going like maybe TP Blink and for going the beads or something like that, but if you're going full damage like this, you need Blink to get in, and you need beads to not immediately die as soon as you get CC'd, so I would go Blink Beads instead of TP Beads. Situational items, yeah, Bloodforge is fine if you're getting a lot of kills. Brawler's obviously for anti-heal. Magites if you're getting blown up is fine. I don't think Serrated Edge is that good on Loki. Same thing with Crusher, I don't think it's that good. Arendite is fine also. I don't hate Arendite. Relic choices. You probably don't need Aegis. I would say you just go Blink Beads, to be completely honest. Full damage Loki kind of just needs Blink Beads for reasons I said earlier. Why is he leveling Vanish? This is wrong. You should level, how much does this do? 33 for 4 seconds. Yeah, you probably level the 3, I think. The 2 seems to do too little damage, like increase per level. It's like 20 damage increase per level. I think you probably just level the 3, to be honest, and like try and group up the wave by tagging the enemy with the 2, and it groups up on you, and then you go for the 3 for the wave clear. But you definitely don't level the 1. It's either the 2 or the 3, so this is very incorrect. Also, you want to level the ult whenever you can. I don't know why you're skipping it until level 13. Yeah, a little bit questionable on the level order and things. The build, I prefer like a Bruiser Loki build from solo, to be honest. But in terms of like an actual damage build for Loki, these items are quite good. I do like this build a lot. You know, it has your percent pen with Heartseeker and Titan's Bane and Dominance. It has some extra damage from like Heartseeker and Hydra's Lament and things like that. Transcendence is pretty good on Loki overall, just high power and things like that. The situational items are mostly pretty good. So the build itself is pretty good. The relics are a little questionable and the leveling order is also not great. And I would also like to see at least an optional Bruiser build, because from solo, I typically prefer the Bruiser Loki style. Wait a minute. Ah. I didn't know. Is this on like all guides? You can just like click this drop down here? I never noticed that. Crit build? This is okay if you were going to go crit Loki, which is a little more viable now. This is probably the crit items you do want to go. You know, Rage Malice for sure, maybe a Deathbringer if you want to go like extra. And Professor Loki's build. Ooh. I don't like the Berserker Shield, and also the Crusher way too late, but I guess it's like a more sort of auto-attack focus build, where like you don't immediately burst someone down and then be done. You know, you can stick around with Serrated Edge and Berserker Shield autos and things like that. I guess that's the general idea for it. I think I prefer just like full burst. Oh, it's a split pushing build, that's why. Okay, yeah, that makes a bit more sense then. But yeah, still no like Bruiser solo build, which I much prefer. So I would have to say, you know, add a Bruiser solo build, it would make this guide a lot better. Overall, I would probably just give this one like an 8. I think a 9.3 is a little overrated for this one, to be completely honest with you. But overall, it's not that bad of a guide. All right, well, let's finish this one off with a 1.8 million views Amaterasu build. Obviously, I know how to build Amma very well. I play her a lot. I'm a solo main, and Amma is one of my core gods. God, 1.8 million views, dude. Maybe I should make SmiteFire, guys. I know I say this every episode, but maybe I should. Let's have a look at this one. Death Toll is correct. Chalice 3 multis is correct. You could also go 4 multis if you wanted a little bit more sustain in the lane. Blink is fine. You can also go TP if you're a little less confident, but yeah, Blink is what I would go personally. Death Embrace, Ninja Tabby, Zerk Shield, Shogun's, Frostbound, Stone Cutting, Blink Shell. This is totally fine. The Stone Cutting is a little aggressive. I would like to see maybe sort of like a less situational item, I guess. I would only go Stone Cutting if I'm very fed and can easily get in on people and just nuke them and I'm not dying a lot. If you're sort of more even or you're behind, I would recommend going something like a Mantle of Discord here instead. But overall, the build's very good. You know, Zerk Shield, Shogun's, Frostbound is kind of like the core mid-game for Amaterasu. Make sure you can stick to targets with those autos and have plenty of attack speed. Death's Embrace is obviously the go-to for her. Ninja Tabby as well for the attack speed synergy. Relics are fine. You could also swap out the shell for a lot of other different relics. You know, you could go Curse, you could go Frenzy, you could go Sunder if you wanted to. You could go Sprint. Like, you can go a lot of those sort of AoE team fighting relics in place of the shell and it'd be totally fine. And the Blink is pretty essential, I would say. Leveling order is fine. It's pretty easy to level Amaterasu. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's got some options down here. Yeah, these are definitely cores, I would say. Offensive items. Frostbound, I would argue, is core, to be completely honest with you. Stone Cutting, yeah, definitely good offensive option. Shifter Shield and Void Shield, very good as well. Defensive options, yeah, Regrowth, very underrated on Amaterasu. I think Regrowth is pretty solid. Mantle, Hide if you're fed, Witchblade for like anti-basic attacks. We'll probably also add Wingblade in here just in case. And then for relics, Blink, Shell, Heavenly Wings, Beads. Yeah, you can go Beads against very specific comps. You know, if they have like Tyr, Athena or something like that, you might want to go Beads. But in general, I wouldn't say you need them, but he has put it in like an optional section, not in the core build, so that does make sense to me. So yeah, overall, a very solid guide. I really have, I guess, one complaint, and that would be putting Stone Cutting in the core build. I would probably put this as like a mantle and then say, you know, somewhere else that optional offensive item in place of that could be stone cutting or shifter shield, something like that. But that's my only complaint, and it's fairly minor, so I have to give this one like a 9.5. This is probably one of the best guides I've ever reviewed, to be honest. I think this one is a little underrated overall. But yeah, that's going to be it for this one. Been recording about 25 minutes now, probably more like 20 minutes and when I've cut everything down and things like that for you guys. But yeah, that's going to be the video, so let me know what your favourite guide was down below. Personally, I really like the Amaterasu one I just reviewed. I think that one was very solid. Probably one of the better guides, if not the best guide I've reviewed from SmiteFire so far. But that Tiamat one really hurt my brain, so there's definitely, you take the bad with the good with this website. Obviously, anyone can submit a guide. You're going to get some terrible players with no idea what they're talking about submitting guides, but you're also going to get some decent players submitting pretty good guides as well. So if you're still around, you probably enjoyed the video, so be sure to drop a like on it down below, so let me know that I should create more of these episodes and that you enjoyed them, and I will catch you guys in another video later on. Have a great day, and peace out, you nerds.